before I could actually get ready to go live. But okay, so anyway, so here am I. I'm here in my car, and we're here grocery shopping. So I decided let me go ahead and start working on some stuff for you. And so what I have here for you today, ladies and gentlemen, let's go jump right in. I have been working on, this is my masking tape roll, and as you can see, it's almost out. I'm down to like a little bit of it, so there's that. I've been working on some commissions. I'm making a Jimba. This is Jimba, right? Jimba chupacabras, it's a fish monster. And then you also have Japa. So I have to make, it's a Japa. So I'll be making 3 of these. So what happens is that, so I have, in the process, in the works, I have so far Japa, and also have a Jimba. Right, so basic protoforms and stuff. So boom, boom. Then you have one that almost completed. This is one's almost finished. So this is one that's been working on for yesterday we were watching Walking Dead season 11, and pretty much started working on this one. So this is pretty much almost done. It's just ready for the paint job. And with that, I'm just gonna go ahead and start working on that. I want to know if you guys can hear me in the chat. If you guys can hear me well with the sound. See, I'm gonna see if I can bring this a little closer. I can zoom the thing too, but I thought if I just bring it closer, maybe bring it a little closer, like right about here. That. All right, is it too close for you? Okay, so, I don't know, just zoom doesn't quite work so well because it's the other camera, so it's like a digital zoom. I don't know, too much of me. Let me see if I can just back it up a little bit, just right here. And yeah, this is pretty good. Okay, this is good. All right, cool beans. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to thank you so much for being here today. I'm going to go ahead and start working on some of these creatures. So you have this one here. This is this is Japa, and this here is Jimba. So Jimba and Japa, right? So I'm gonna try to keep the bloom from happening so much, but it's like that. I don't know how to do this. So I'm gonna kind of just down a little bit. So here, all right, so that we get the bloom. Okay, so there's that. Let's go ahead and start. So what I do, I had to go to Home Depot. I get some more masking tape. So here's my masking tape roll. Boom! I had to get one of these, and so I gotta keep going because what happens when you run out of tape, you have to, you know, this is how to make it. So here it goes. It has been a tremendously awesome day, and I'm just gonna go ahead and just kind of walk and talk you through stuff. Yesterday we celebrated my son's birthday, and so what happened was that we did so I made a little sculpture for him, right? And then this was like there. I made a little picture, and don't add the word little to anything. It's like a miniature. I made a miniature sculpture of him, and here's that. So this is a little sculpture I made for my boy. And so I have him in the car, so that's pretty much from there. And then right now I'm working on making this one here. So this is like a big old, you know, one of the fish monsters and stuff like this. Is the chupacabras. This is a Jimba, right? And then I'm gonna put Jimba's gonna devour, you know, his by the head, because you know what? This is how it should be. You have this right here. You have this right there. So that's a fish monster. This is what it looks like when it's painted. This is the painted one, right? And the painted one. This is the one that's being made for the commission. And there's the processes of it happening right there. This is the processes of me putting it together. So I'm just gonna kind of go ahead and just walk you through it and talk you through it as I do. But this is here. This is my boy, right? And he celebrated his 22nd birthday. And there's the fish monster giving him a good old biting right to the midsection. You know, I don't do voodoo. This is not voodoo. This is actually just a piece of masking tape. If anything, it's a blessing. If you get one of these from me, it's a blessing. So it's not a curse, okay? Because you know. Anyway, so that's here that too. Not a cursing. So I'm gonna make some stuff right here. I'm gonna have this guy right here, and I'm gonna keep him right here so you can see him being worked on. Right, not him, but I'm gonna be working on the fish monsters and stuff. So definitely, it's good to see you guys. Can you guys hear me okay? Can everybody hear me okay? That's pretty much what I just need to see how you guys are doing. You guys can hear me okay? Say hi, say hi. So settler. Okay, cool. This is me making stuff with tape. So yeah, so I'm a masking tape sculpting artist, and what I'm going to be doing, I'm just going to go ahead and continue to work on these creatures. It says hi. Thank you so much for, you know, for being there. So here's the one here for this one here. This is the situation, and this is there. Put that right there. Right here. So you see that one right there, and then you have that right there, and then you have that like right. So what I'm doing right here, I'm just gonna fulfill the body work and stuff like that. So as I do, I'm gonna be talking to you about stuff, you know, just be talking to you about how things are going. For the most part, though, it's like, you know, we have today is Thursday, and Thursday is a good day for us to actually to make some cool art. And what I'm doing is this, right? I'm gonna see if I can quickly get this done for your very eyes. We've been watching The Walking Dead. We got up to the last disc right now. Well, not here obviously because we watch it at home. But while I'm at home, I'm sitting here sculpting this creature and sculpting and making everything work out. So yeah, these are kind of things. So I'm just totally excited about the fact that I get a chance to do this because you know each one of these monsters are worth a lot. They're worth a lot because what happens that this is one of my own IP. You know that own IP. And it's like it ends up looking like really cool, you know, really cool when it's finished. You see how that looks? This is one of the this is the Joppa. Actually, this is the Jimba. And see how that when you have her hands, it's like a fish. She's like a really like fish monster. This is really cool. So yeah, you have that there right there. Then you have that. Next one you have this one here, and this is the one like this right there. You can see that right there too as well. So that's what I have like this. In the public, this is like weird. All right, because it's cool. So here goes this. I'm just gonna keep working on this right here, and you're gonna see me do this. But just keep talking about stuff. So yeah. So the most part though, let the things work. Stevie knows is the best. Is the best. Okay. In the chat, let me know what kind of creature you think I should make. So what other creatures I should make in the future, because what happens is that these creatures are fun to make for me. I totally enjoy making them. I'm doing 2 at a time, 2 at the same time. But what creatures do you think I should make in the future? Because it's like, it says hi. If I push a button, let's say hi. Let me see. If I push the screen right there, wave hi. It says hi. Oh, that's you guys saying hi. It says hi. You should make a dinosaur bone. You know, I have dinosaur bones. I actually have a bunch of them. Let me show you one of my other creatures I made. So I have a bag of creatures that walk with me. Let me show you some of this stuff real quick. Like this. There's like... I got a bag of treats right here, people. So what happens is this one's my... See, I keep all my pens together, so when I go to work, I have all my stuff in one compartment. This is Deli. This is Deli. My... Hello from Azerbaijan. Okay, good. Hello, good to meet you. Hello. This is one of my favorite ones. His name is Deli, and he has like he's a hammerhead salamander, Diplocalus, and he's got this really long tongue that kind of sticks out like this, like that. His tongue sticks out of his mouth, and I use him for food delivery. When I used to do food delivery, I don't do it as much anymore because you know I got a job, and so I work, which takes up all my time. So when I'm doing like artwork and stuff like that, it's like you have an opportunity to do like, you know, some cool stuff. But for the most part, this is Deli. So Deli, right? And so if you can see a lot of my artwork, a lot of artwork is very colorful. I use a lot of orange and stuff in my artwork. Then also one of the things I've been working on too is some puppetry, right? Some puppetry. So this is like one of the advanced puppets that I've been working on. All right, this is a puppet. This is a puppet. And so one of the puppets I've been working on like that, and just kind of the process of kind of making this into like a really cool. But here you could have the zombie walk because you're watching The Walking Dead. Hello from Wales. So you're like, so you have the Walking Dead type thing, right? That it's pretty cool. So yeah, so this is the one, and he's just like, hello, I crush you, and I snap your neck. Right, so I have that. So he's like, no, don't crush me, sir, don't crush me. So this is masking tape. So you got all the joints that bend, and then see if you look at how I make the joints bend. So they call it bend in the same direction right there. See that? So it bends one way as opposed to 2 ways. It doesn't like, you know, trying to be the legs swing sideways. And you got the arms and everything like that too. But yes, this is me just talking too much because I'm fully working on my commission, right? So this is the commission. Then I have another one. These are some other ones too, because I have like 2 that I'm working on. This is another one. It's another one here. So I put some blue tape to kind of differentiate. But you see right there, you see that booty right there? That's some booty right there. That's some interesting cakey booty right there. Okay, so what happens, like my kids just love that kind of stuff. They just go crazy. Like you show like a little shaky type thing and they just go, ah, it's like, da. So this one here is like 1, 2 that I haven't finished, but also the zombies. Let's put a zombie mode. Here it goes. You know, like you're watching The Walking Dead. I kid you not, that show is incredible. I don't know how I missed it for all the years when it came out. I guess because, you know, we didn't have the cable. So so what happens, like, you know, they got the you know, about to finish that up there. So there's, so like, that's right. Okay, so there you have that, right? So you're like, yeah. Shake, Sonora. All right, so you have that right there. Boom. I just dropped them on the floor. Okay, cool. Get them off the floor. Okay, so here's that one. Like and subscribe. I appreciate you liking and subscribing. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for that. We're now at 3,501 subscribers. I want to thank you so much for that because we have been working so hard to get. I'm trying to get to 10,000 subscribers because I have a cousin and he does this as well. And when you won't find him under my name because my cousin had a different last name. Anyway, so what happens is there's a scenario where he's got like 1 million followers. And I'm just like, he totally encouraged me to say, Greg, you need to get involved in the whole YouTube thing. So, I've been at my YouTube thing for a number of years now, right? And so what happens is that as I've been working on the YouTube stuff, I've been learning about the whole aspect of building a business with it. One thing that's cool about YouTube is that, sometimes you put a video today and nobody really sees it till next week or the week after. And when you do that, you still get money for that. So it's really cool. But first you got to get monetized. So definitely want to do that. You want to get monetization. And how you do that, you just by being yourself, I appreciate that. I appreciate all of you who are here watching my shows today. I really do because I try to come on Wednesday and Thursdays because what happens is that life is so full of things. And someone was saying about at first you have to be consistent, which is true, but sometimes you just have to let your presence be known. For example, you want to be your best because there are times, right? For example, we were going to our co-op, right? A cooperative. And what we were doing was that we were actually I'd have to drive back from deep in the heart of Brooklyn, which is pretty far for us. And this car has some issues because we're still trying to fix out all the bugs in this car. So one of the things that taking the highway sometimes is really long, and we never took this car as far as possible yet because we got it from Facebook Marketplace. You might have heard the story already, but getting this car from Facebook Marketplace is one of those things where it's I love co-op. Yes, co-ops are awesome. The co-op is great. So what happened? We had to travel so far to actually get to where we're going to and coming back. So it'd take us a while. It'd take us 2 hours or something to come home. It takes us about maybe an hour to get there. And so when I get home, I have to go and do a live video. And the live video would be just take all my energy to do and I wouldn't give the best. So right now it's actually daylight, daytime, and all that stuff, and it's just working out really well. Remember, next week I have a class, by the way. Next week I'll be teaching a class in Jamaica, Queens. And pretty much, this is my second time doing this at Jamaica, Queens. We used to work with a studio in Brooklyn, in Bushwick, and what happened was we did that. I did 6 classes over there. But the most part though, I just did what is the live people. So we actually sculpt live people with these classes. So yeah, so we have people, they pose, they hold the shape, and just like how this is right here, how we have a thing right here, we have people who pose the shape, they hold the shape, and be like hello, or they hold the shape. Or they be kind of pose and all that stuff, so they pose like that right there. They pose and they hold a shape, and then we sculpt them. We sculpt them in masking tape. And so that's the cool thing about that. It's you can actually do that. You can actually sculpt somebody, and they can sit or stand. And well, anyway, so the thing is, we sculpt live people. So live people, sometimes they have clothes on, sometimes they don't. But for the most part, though, we sculpt them, and with them, just humans. So we do that. So if you want to join our class, it's going to be a clothed class. If you come to the one that's coming next week, it'll be clothed. It won't be probably bathing suit kind of thing, but it'll be for the most part, it won't be have to worry about seeing anything. But it's going to be 18-year-old class because 18-year-old and up. Because what happens is that we are adults and we have adult stuff that we do. Well, not stuff, bad stuff, but I'm just saying we are adults, and kids, tend not to see these things. But the world is crazy now. So, but for the most part, in my class, you come to my class, just know it's going to be doing artwork, and sometimes it's hard to explain. I will have specific kid classes for kids because I've actually taught in schools. I taught schools and museums, and I taught at art markets and stuff. And it's oh, it looks like a rag doll. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, like a rag doll. It's just kind of it has a whole motion to it. Yeah, this is part of this. This is part of my advanced puppetry classes that I'm working towards. And what's the other one? The other one here. Okay, this one here is very much more like a rag doll. So this one here has the whole aspect of it too. So this is see, you could hold it like that and stuff like that. Just hold it and see a rag doll will just hold the shape and hold the frame. It's kind of hard because of the bloom keeps happening. So try not to hit it too much with the light. But see here like that. So there you see that we make the peoples. Yep. So this is pretty much cool. Again, I could have the person hanging on here from here. But it'll be right in front of me if you do that. So you'll be I got a person hanging right here. But that's kind of crazy. I'm not gonna do that. Okay, that looks just no, that doesn't look good. So anyway, so what we do is this. Yeah, so I'm just this right here. So you have this. This is the comparison. This is the one that's completed. This is the one that's similar. Right. So I'm doing a similar comparison because when you do these things, you have to make sure that it's just right. If you don't, you're gonna have two separate sizes. And they have to be similar. See, the thing is, like, when I do these sculptures, right? When I make these sculptures have a lot of my life in there, because, like, each one is handmade, custom made, something for the little person in here. So this one's not like things I'm putting right back here again. So again, this is like my son. My oldest son, he just celebrated his birthday. We just had a birthday party for him yesterday, and we went to talk White Castle. He just absolutely loves White Castle. But yeah, he's old. He's old. He's old. He's not a teenager anymore. And so he has his own channel that he works on. And so the thing is, I've encouraged all my children to work on their own artwork and work on their channels, so that what happens is that, you see, the thing is about life is that if you can do what you love to do and you're able to, make money from it, then you are head and shoulders above a lot of people, because what happens is that people tend to have to work on things they don't really like. They don't work in jobs they don't really like, and they do it just for the money. But if you can work on something that you love without losing your soul in the process, because sometimes, the thing that you love can also become a job. And so I was talking to people about that too. Like, your thing that you love could become a job. And when you do that, you have to kind of like just put into your mindset that, you have to find what you love. Sometimes people always say, don't do what you love as a career. Just do it for fun. Do it for fun, but just try not to try not to be too overwhelmed with things. Like, don't go ahead and do stuff that's like, for example, like, if I like the Toys R Us, right? I'm right now in the old Toys R Us parking lot, right here where it used to be, like, here in New York. If you want to know exactly where I am, I'm like 48th Street, right? 48th Street, Northern Boulevard area in New York, right? So I'm actually here right now. And so what happens is, like, I am sculpting these creatures here. And behind me used to be an old Toys R Us. Yeah, Toys R Us here. And we used to come here like every year. And what they do is that when you come here on my kids' birthdays, they would give you like they give you a balloon. They would announce your name on the loudspeaker, And some of my kids, all the way up to where they close up the Toys R Us, they would always go to these things because it was such a good memory for them. They absolutely loved, and just loved the whole aspect of like how things work, and they just love it. Because we'd go there and it was such a good memory. I love Toys R Us too because of the colors. Also, I love bookstores. I love pet shops. There's not too many of those. There used to be Petland back in the day. Now Petland's all gone. So now we have the Petcos, and Petcos is pretty cool. But I don't know. We have a lizard at home. Her name is Barb, and she is a bearded dragon. And one of the cool things about her is that she's a very cool lizard. Looks like a ragdoll. Okay, what happens is a lizard, and she's very cool in terms of her temperament. So the other day, my son gave her a nice bath, and she had like the time of her life. It was really good, and she's still there. So here's this one, right? At the same time, I have to work at two at the same time. So this is kind of like going back and forth. So I'm trying to make sure I do this, because what happens is, like, it's good to work on something twice at the same time, because you can actually focus and get stuff done in half the time if you do both at the same time. But sometimes they say don't multitask. Multitask is kind of crazy. So yeah. So anyway, so the Toys R Us, we go there. The colors is what I love the best, and I like things that are colorful. See, my art that I make is not. I don't make dark art. I make happy art. The art that I make is happy, and that's why it's like, I used to make. I made like one politician once, right? We made Bernie with Vern Mittens, and I never made another politician after that. People ask me, could you make like the this one or that one, and I'm just like, no, I don't want to. The reason is because it's like they come from a dark place. These people come from dark places. I don't know. They accomplish stuff. They do, yes, but their stuff is talking. They're like the highest level of influence is talk. It's like I guess the most similar to God we are is when we're talking and creating stuff, because that's kind of like using your imagination and creativity. But the thing is, like, sometimes you have to do manually labor, so you have to actually make something. You actually have to go there and form something. And if you don't form something or don't produce something, and you're just talking, you just talk. Because I remember I used to be like, I was involved, my wife and I were looking at this thing, the ministry we were in. And I thank God for it, because I learned a lot about stuff, and had I not been in it, I probably wouldn't be here right now doing stuff. But the thing was, the ministry we were in, I realized now that I really didn't know what I didn't know, Because, like, imagine like you have somebody come out of Bible school, or somebody goes into seminary or whatever. They really haven't lived yet. So you're taking a person who hasn't really lived in the real world yet. You might have gotten a job or worked something, but you don't have children, have experience, right? And then so what happens is, like, you go and you start trying to lead people in a church system. And these people, you don't see every week. You see them like one day, maybe 2 days, Maybe you have a youth group where you're meeting for 3 days, you have a Saturday, Sunday, and a Wednesday kind of thing. And you expect to lead people in their whole life, When in all honesty, God gives you wisdom, yes, but honestly, God gives them wisdom too. So there's actually a lesson that you need to learn from the people who you're going to, talk with, As a matter of fact, I've come to the conclusion that everybody has some piece of wisdom. There's somebody, even the idiots out there in the world, they have some wisdom too. Because to be a successful idiot, you have to have some kind of wisdom. You can't just be an idiot that's an idiot for idiot's sake. You have to have some kind of someone says you can play the fool, but if you know the rules, there's no way you can lose, right? So it's like kind of like if you know how to do something, if you know how to do something and you're able to kind of like make things happen, what ends up happening is that you are in a situation where you can actually, accomplish stuff that nobody knows you're able to accomplish. So I'm just like, man, and that even a foolish person is wise when they have their, they do stuff wise. But then there's some people, they can't see the end. They don't know what's going to happen next. So they have no future vision. It's kind of like forethought or foresight or something, where you can actually look ahead and see things and see how things are going to pan out, right? So to do that, forward a little bit like this way. To do that, to see like to have foresight and to have understanding about certain things, you definitely need to you have to have a form of vision. You have to have a form of a vision where you can actually see what's going to happen ahead. Like I don't believe in psychics, right? I believe if a psychic exists because someone's telling something, but as for them knowing inherently, no, I do not believe that. I have friends who do the tarot card stuff and they do and stuff like that. And I personally don't, I don't ascribe to those things because one, we're forbidden from scripture, not to, because God says, we are to trust in him and not our ability to determine the future, right? So there's an aspect where you have a probability. So it's a game, when I think of what's going to happen, I do a probability test. For example, like you see how these things are working? I make these creatures, right? These little creatures right here. These I see them in my head before I make them. So these these sea creatures and stuff like that, I see them in my head before I actually form them, right? And so it's just a matter of my hands finding the way to accomplish them. So for the most part, though, it's not like a foresight in terms of like I don't know what's going to happen, because I'm actively making it, as you can see, right? I'm actively making it. So when you see me form these creatures, it's me making them, but it's from my head, so I already see it. So I can actually talk and do this because my mind and my hands are currently working on it while I'm talking to you. So that's one. Two, the other thing is like when you have a scenario where somebody's trying to tell you something that's going to happen in the future, God has strictly forbidden us, because it said, well, who can know the future? Nobody knows what's going to happen. And you can guess and have speculation. Like, for example, Lord willing, tomorrow I'll go to work, right? And then Lord willing, tomorrow I'll come home from work. But between tomorrow what will happen, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know if it's going to be 100%, And so, that's kind of a give and take. That's why we said, the Bible says no one should boast about what they will do and this and that. It says no one should say, we're going to do this and this and this and go to the city and make a fortune. You got to be like, if the Lord wills, if God allows us to, we'll do certain things, So that's why it's kind of like, people have the thing where they're trying to root out God from everything. And they have successfully removed God from everything. And they turn his name into a curse word, right? So when you have his name, the name Jesus, it's a curse word. So that's one of the things. So it's a curse word. People use them as a swear word, as exasperation, like, oh my goodness, And it's like, you think about that. If somebody used your wife's name or your mother's name or something, you'd be all offended, right? So don't talk about my mom, but the one who made us, Anyway, so what happens? Like, my point being is that when you have this scenario, right, when you're kind of faced with these situations, it has been successfully removed. There's no presence, no deliverance, no explanation of God. Hi again, how you doing? And so what happens? There's no explanation, so people keep forgetting who the Most High is, and they don't turn to him in problems. So they turn to quick fixes and money and stuff like that, or boredom and depression and things like that, trying to solve their own problem a different way, when in fact it's like, all right, so you have this one, so you have this one, and you have this one. It's coming along right there. I had to clean my room. That's good. It's good to clean your room. Let me tell you. Let me tell you. Clean your room is a good thing. They have what's his name? Jordan Peters talks about that. He says you need to go and clean your room. And he said that. This is things like, go clean your room, young man. Go clean your room, and all that kind of things like that. So that's what they always he talks about with that. So for me now, what I am doing, I'm constructing something from masking tape. See, I'm a purist in terms of I'm not using wires or anything else. I will use like seals and paints later, but from the core to the surface, it's all made of masking tape. So when you have like a structure, you go from a structure like this to this, you see this is all made of masking tape. This is all like very strategically made strategically positioned masking tape art, right? And so I'm holding the tail, right? The tail right there. So this is all very detailed. See how many pieces are on this thing? Each one has to be made and balanced so that it looks good and also that it can stand up. Not to mention, she has the fins, and when it opens up, it becomes like, you know, and see, this isn't clay. This isn't clay. This isn't like this is masking tape. And so masking tape is very flexible. So when we teach my class like that, for example, when we teach a class and we have the person, right? The person that we make, right? That fish rider. I am a fish rider, right? So you have that person there riding the fish. What happened? You have this scenario where it's like this is what we do when we have our classes, right? Poor thing, right? Split right in the butt cheek, right there. See, right there, the fin split right in the butt. Man, it's terrible. Right there. Ouch! Right on the. So there you have it, folks. Don't you go ride no fish, because the fish is gonna split your, gonna hit you where the good Lord split you, right? So there you have that right there. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. This is one, and it's not painted yet. So when it gets painted, it's gonna look like this. It'll be painted to look like this one. So you have that. So this is gonna be the final paint job, right? So you have that. This is like the similarities. See how it is? Similarities of the structures. This is the one. And this is all lightweight too, by the way. So when I make masks, thank you so much, I appreciate that. When you make masks out of this stuff, the fatigue, there's no fatigue on your head. So I mean, it's one of those cool things, you know. So I tell you, I love this whole masking tape thing. I give a shout out to the guy. Every time I do a video, I give a shout out to guy Marcos makes dinosaurs. If you look up his channel, he's always making Jurassic Park dinosaurs, and he inadvertently showed me how to do it. Was that he, instead of using wire for armature, he used the masking tape as an armature, and here we are today. So this is 6 years later. Thank you so much, Marcos Makes. I give a shout out to him every single time. So definitely visit his channel. It's worth it. He makes some cool stuff. He uses a thing called milliput, which I haven't used yet because I really have no reason to use a milliput yet. But when I do, my friends, because what happens when you use milliput, you're gonna harden up the material. Your masking tape will now be hardened and you won't be flexible. So my stuff here is very flexible and it will continue to be flexible, like forever. So when I make like a gremlin or when I make like one of the creatures and stuff like that, all the stuff that's being made, they can still bend and flex, which is perfect. And I see people ask me all the time, says, Greg, why don't you just stop motion? And I say, you know, I don't have any wires inside of my masking tape. And they say, well, why don't you put wires? And I say, well, it kind of defeats the purpose. So what I do, I put wires outside of it, right? So I'm also doing like the puppet stuff. So the puppet stuff, I'm trying to put like, make it better where you can actually just have the thing, you know, and they can just, you know, they can function better. But let it be said though, let it be said, there's no wires in there. So that's something there. There's no wires in my masking tape. So what I'm doing now, I'm creating the legs and the legs. So to imagine this, imagine coming to a class, right? And I show you how to do this. This is like, I think this is so cool because one, there's not too many people who are doing this, right? And eventually I figured that people will eventually in time start doing this more so. But until then, I realized that this is one of those things where, you know, as I'm doing this, I just love the fact that this is something that's so cool. You can actually make things really cool relatively quickly and just using one medium, one art. You just have to know how to twist the tape. That's it, really. But then also you have to know the concept and anatomy and stuff like that to make it look just right. But the thing is, if you don't know how to do this stuff, what ends up happening, you end up making like ill-proportioned stuff. But you want to make sure that when you do stuff, you know, you make it so good. So anyway, so the goal, one of the things about what I'm doing here is I'm actually trying to just talk and have a conversation without actually focusing on the whole masking tape structure I'm doing. So I'm actually trying to let the subconscious do it while I'm talking to you consciously and letting this just cook and come from my soul. So that's the thing there too. That's another wonderful thing about this. So yeah, so the fish is coming along. You see that? You can see the parameters from when I first started. You can see the design. I've been having like some problems with my phone lately. It's like what happens is that we got like a terabyte drive, right? I got terabyte drive installed on my cell phone. Because what happened was I use up a lot of space. So you know me, I take a lot of pictures, a lot of videos and stuff. So if you ever had that problem happen to you, I'm in the process of trying to learn how to do that too, how to fix it. But I have to keep working and knocking out my commission that I got. So we got 3 of the hammerhead salamanders complete, right? 3 of them, but not complete, but they're ready for painting. Not to mention I got to install some eyeballs. So I might have to swing by Michael's craft store and pick up some more eyeballs, because every chance I get, I always get some more eyeballs. That's something there very important, you know. So that's one thing. And the other one too, we go to Hobby Lobby a lot, so I get a lot of my airbrush supplies from there. Not to mention I can do some really cool gnarly airbrushing with this stuff too. So that's something there. But for the most part, there, when you're kind of like looking at this stuff and I'm just working on it, the thing is like I am. I love this. I really do. I really love this. You know, if anything, I love when people give me commissions and stuff to work on really challenging ones. The most challenging one I ever did, by the way, if you ever watched the show, ever watched the video game, play a video game called Monster Hunter World, right? Monster Hunter World is a comic book, it's a cartoon, it's a PlayStation game, right? Like Capcom PlayStation game, and they have these really cool dragon monsters, right? So you're kind of like in this world. You have the old world, the new world, and all that stuff. And one of the monsters they had was called a Negrigante, right? The Negrigante is this giant dragon, and it had 300 spikes on his shoulder. That was one of my favorite. I might make one again and just have me just time lapse it for you guys to see how long it is, because that was the coolest monster. That was one of my coworkers at I worked at my job I used to work at. They had asked me for one of those, and that was before I was charging people money for that. You know, so what happened was like my if I was smart then as I am now, I would have charged them a lot of money for that one, because you know all I got was a thank you from it, right? But as for like the thing is, I would have gotten a lot more if I had just charged. But that was a very difficult project. That was one of the most difficult ones I had to make, and I just took it in stride. I learned a lesson, and I said to myself, man, that was a cool thing to make. You know, that was a real cool thing to make. So I was just like, this is great, because when I got a chance to do that, I was just like, man, wow, because it was like, it's a dragon, and see, there's two types of dragons. There's the wyvern dragons, right? Dragons that the wings are connected to their arms, right? Those are wyverns. So for example, the ones that flap, that's a wyvern. But you have dragons that have the four arms, and you have two separate wings. Those are and they have the four legs, kind of like for example, like Smog in the Smog was a wyvern dragon, right? He's a winged dragon, like almost like a bat, with hands. His arm is a bat, right? So he's a big old lizard bat kind of thing. But when you have the Negrigante has like the four legs. It's kind of like Draco. Draco in a Dragonheart, he was a dragon, right? He wasn't just like a wyvern dragon. He had the four legs, and he had the two separate wings for his arm. And I haven't made a Draco yet. I can't believe that. Oh my word. Okay, I have to make a Draco. I should stop making these fish monsters and just make a Draco for you guys to see. Right? Just hang it up and say, let me make a Draco. Yeah, not today. And there's another one I was looking at. Just dragon beat. I'm gonna still make this cool tegu. You know, there's a type of lizard called a tegu, right? And a tegu is one of those lizards that are like, very not virulent, not aggressive. I think the coolest looking lizards are like tegu. I like lizards like dragons, like dinosaurs. And that's my thing. If I could make a lizard, I also like gremlins too as well. And somebody's calling me right in the middle of this. Isn't that crazy? I wonder if somebody called me from California. Is that weird how people call you from California? I don't know anybody in California. Anyway, so what happens is like, so pretty much, I don't know if you guys can hear me because it might have shut off. All right, hopefully they'll, I would say people can send me text messages, send me a text message. That'd be great. So anyway, so the thing is when you get a phone like that, you don't know who's calling you from that. So there's that, right? This and this, right? And so you have to kind of factor in how much wing space you need to make it work, because you have this thing here. So you have to kind of factor in the arms and how much arms go. And this is one of my most popular fish builds, this one here, because people absolutely love this goldfish monster. That's why he's a Joppa. The first one, I took this one to the beach, and his colors just like, you see his colors? I'm bringing closer to you. His colors are like gold. He's been like airbrushed, not to mention his little fat belly. See the little fat belly down there? His fat belly is just like perfecto. You see that? His fat belly is just great. So you have, this is the combination of stuff right there. This is so good. I absolutely love the fact that he looks the way he does. Okay, so that's one. Next one, we're gonna go, so I'm in the process of making two. So just go ahead and this is here, right? And then this one is here. So let's go ahead and just so we have to kind of make it similar. So you have what are similar things to make him similar. He's got the fish face, he's got the eyeball stalks and all that things like that. So let's cook this thing. Let's finish this up. All right, so yes, I'm telling you, the makers of masking tape, I salute you. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. I mean, imagine that you get to make a 3D canvas. Imagine doing that. You get to make something 3D. You get to work like canvas in all directions, and then you get to paint it. And it's when you paint something like this is great, because now you're making something that never existed before, using tape that people don't really consider anything, and there you have it. So again, if you guys can like put a good word in for me with the 3M company, the Scotch tape company, that'd be great. I might have to just myself, just kind of go and find my own way, because that's kind of how you have to find things in life. But for the most part, though, just, you know, it'd be cool. Got somebody who's insider who's watching my video, or has a family member who knows, hey, you know, there's a guy online. He has, you know, he makes masking tape creatures using only 3M Scotch tape, contractor grade. He doesn't use 99-cent one. No, we don't besmirch the quality of the tape. Anyway, so that's enough of that. But for the most part, yeah. So this thing here, you know, there's a good chance I might see a movie tonight, but it depends on how far along I come along on this thing here with this thing, because in all honesty, it's one of those. If you don't take the opportunity to do something, you miss the opportunity to do something. So definitely. So I'm saying, let me just use my time. Right now, my wife is actually doing grocery shopping, and so usually I go with her, but she also understands that I'm pretty much this is a commission that benefits the family. So she's like, definitely just stay here and work on these things, you know. So that's kind of the scenario there. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna finish up this fish monster. This is my chupacabras. This is a japa. This is my japa part 3. So this is my japa fish monster chupacabras. This is here. This is what he looks like when he's completed. This is what here as I'm working on him. So all right, so there's that. And then this one here, I was showing before. This is the one that's like that's I'm in the process of working on. And I put a person there. So this person here is there, but this is gonna look like this. So this chupacabra is gonna be finished. Well, this one actually is finished. This is Jimba, and she's a fish, a lady fish monster. And this is a Jimba completed, or just needs to be painted. And then this is one of the people I have on board there. So there's that. And then this is Deli, this fish monster. And this is Jimba, Japa, and this is Japa painted. So this is a Japa being painted and being worked on, and this is a Japa that's already completed. So you have that there. So there you have that. All right, so I'm gonna let you see that. And so my wife is right now, she's actually doing some grocery shopping, and so we are just kind of, you know, in the parking lot of the grocery store that we're grocery shopping in. And so, you know, I remember I used to do some roadie delivery and stuff like that. And when I did the roadie, I had to come here one time, and it was amazing because they did all the shopping for me as opposed to DoorDash. When you have to go to DoorDash, they make you do the shopping, and then they penalize you if you're not fast enough. But, you know, I don't know. DoorDash is kind of an interesting company now. I don't know. It was definitely for a time, and I mean, I don't know. One thing I liked about it was that you get instant pay when you get done. So as soon as you get done with your shift and quit your shift, you know, do an order, get the order completed, and give the food over. Yeah, but you stop right then and there. You end your shift, you depart, and then what happens is like you get your money like right there instantly. So that was one of the cool things about it. That's one thing I liked about it, was that you get instant pay. And we were doing things like we had to go run big pay bills. I mean, what a difference a year makes, huh? By the grace of God. Thank God for all the decisions and stuff we went through, all the struggles we went through, because it kind of leads to this thing here where we get a chance to do some more cool art and stuff. So that's something there. So, you know, so I'm just like, as I'm just doing this, I'm just, again, I appreciate everybody who watches this. You know, thank you guys so much. You don't know. You don't know how much I really appreciate y'all, because, I mean, actually, I'm going to tell you how much I appreciate. I appreciate you so much that I'm willing to come out every week to see you and to be able to talk with you. So I do this every week, by the way. I'm making something every week, you know, making people, animals, creatures, and I just love it because, you know what? I feel like the most most happy when I'm making stuff, when I'm organizing and putting together things. I'm the most happy because what happens is, like, when you're making stuff, you know, you are using your hands, and your hands are like, they give off dopamine too, like to your brain, makes you're accomplishing something. So imagine I get to work my job, and I get to come home and spend time with my family, and then I get a chance to make some cool art for the world to see. And that cool art is so cool because it's like, again, not too many other people are doing this, and definitely people using references. So I'm not using references, I'm actually talking to you while I'm doing this. I mean, I have a reference of the ones I already made, but before that there was none that was there. So, you know. And then I have my Instagram channel, so definitely you can follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is One Life Must Art. One Life Must Art. M-U-S-T Must A-R-T. One Life, O-N-E, One Life Must Art. And that's my YouTube channel. All right, and then here's like my cool fish that I'm working on. And as you can see, as you watch me do this, this is like, remember, this is a commission for someone. Someone actually requested me to make this for them. And as I'm making this here, I'm showing you guys, like, not so much how I'm making it, but the fact that I am making it. It's just one of those things where it's like, you're starting to see some of the process of how I cook these things, you know. But again, it's not the entire process, because again, I'm not sitting there walking you piece by piece how it's done, but you can see that is very elaborate. I'm going through a roll of tape trying to make this thing happen. And there's a whole procedure and strategic that, I have classes, by the way. If you join my Patreon class, you can see stuff. If you join my membership class here on YouTube, you can see stuff too. Anyway, so enough of that. For the most part, though, these are some of the cool things I work on. So yeah, so I was talking before about like how I don't make politicians because politicians are different people, but I do make people though. I do make actors, and I do make movie monsters. And some of the one of the favorite one, the most difficult one I had to make was the Negrigante from Monster Hunter World. I also made the Alien Queen. Alien Queen was fun, but she wasn't as difficult as the Negrigante. That one was the most difficult creature I made. I did the one from Avatar, the Banshee, with the blue guys. The Navi and Natiri on the back of a Banshee, and that was like one of my favorite ones to make because it was so cool. That was back in the day when I just started learning how to do this, so it may not even still exist at this point. But one of the cool things about it is that when you masking tape pretty much lasts forever. This will be indestructible. This is not like clay; it will fall and break. You'll have this for the rest of your life, right? As long as you train it right and teach it right. Because what happens, how you treat it right is by you have to make sure it's weird, but you have to touch it. You have to pick up the art and touch it. And I found it just your hands touching it. Here's something interesting, right? This is very interesting. This masking tape thing, right? If you ever get a chance to do this, you take like this, right? And you just look like that with the masking tape. And when you do that, it actually creates electricity. It's the weirdest thing. It's like you do this in a dark room, right? I did this. We were watching Hunger Games. My kids and I were watching the Hunger Games in part 2, and I sat and I was working on this, and it was like when I did that, like that, it was creating light. There's actually light that comes out of here. So it's like almost like you're making an electrical system from your hands. You're working electricity, right? And electricity into this is a thing called triboluminescence. Tribo, which means through force or through mechanical action. Triboluminescence, when you take the tape and you tear it like so, it actually creates light. And it's called it's almost like bioluminescence, right? So you're like a firefly. So what this actually makes light. It's the adhesive on it. When you pull it apart, it makes light. This is the coolest thing in the world. I tell you, if you get a chance to see it, just look it up. That's the cool thing. Definitely give it a shot. So yeah, so there's actual aspect. I think that it's like I don't know what it is, but this is like the closest thing to forming a life form, with skin that I can think of, other than like making children or something. Or making something like silicon, because I don't know how silicon responds. I know some things you can't touch. I like most art pieces, right? They're always like don't touch, right? But when you have this thing here with this one, I'm like just pick up my art piece, hold on to it. You can move it around. You can see how cool it is, right? And when you do that, you get a chance to actually partake of the artwork, right? So you're actually sharing in the creation of an art form. And when you do this is like such a cool thing. So that's why I say when you have, if you ever get a piece from me, right? If you ever get me to make a piece, because you're not gonna be one of one. This is like one of one. Even though I have copies I made, for example, I'm making making him, right? He's being made, and I'm just remaking him, right, into things for a customer. What happens is like there's an aspect that this is one of one. This is built at a different time. This Joppa was built during a certain time of my life when I was just kind of going through certain things, right? This Joppa is being built in a different part of my life. So I've grown as a person, as a human being, just kind of comparing the one to the other. And so I had this for many years. This is like 4 or 5 years old now. This is like 4 or 5 years old. He's been through some stuff, and like I said before, you see they have a durability. This has been to the beach with me. This has been like to like movie theaters. This has been like right now. I was in the car. I'm in the car. I'm not in the studio with this. I'm in my car, and this has been here with me. Many people have seen this. Many people have handled this. Many a masking tape situation. We've gone through good whole COVID thing with this, right? And so you have the whole scenario with that, and it's just like this has been a this tells the story. Oh, it's my wife. Hey, and so this is my wife right there. Scared me, right? So what happened? So I'm gonna have to put you on pause for a second. I'm gonna help my wife load the car real quick. All right, so I can't really put you on pause, so you're gonna have to just stay here and watch me as I do this. I'll just be back.
1 second.
Okay, just give me 1 second. All right, but I can just sing. All right, let me help her load the car real quick. To the sound. I'm saying that I was different time in my life when I was working on my art and stuff, So for the most part, though, when you see a piece of artwork or art form, it actually translates to it's like a record, a digital record of memory, a remembrance. We'll move that. The peach apricot. Move that apricot gonna get broken?
No.
Okay.
Oh, it didn't get
All right. It might get like pushed up a little bit. So I pretty much got like a lot of the japa done, and so this is the process of just finishing up the also japa and timba. So I did like 2 of them. So was it 2? Yeah, 1 japa, 2 timbas, 1 japa, and 3 hammerhead salamanders. Okay. The other side.
Yeah, we could use that.
All right, let's do that. Thank you, Jesus. All right, cool. This is here. Okay, this is here. This is those things there. This is here. I'm gonna put this in my bag over. I'll put it here with this one. Okay, cool. All right. I wonder if people are still watching, like, you know, if they're watching, like, how we're in the car grocery shopping. Well, that's cool. I hope they are because they're going to continue in a second. All right, this is there. I'm going to open up that seat on the other side.
We're good.
Is it good or just leave it? Okay.
I'll drink.
I ain't gonna move it.
Can we do it?
All right. Okay, I'm back. All right, did I lose anybody? I don't know. Okay, well, I have to kind of break this down. Yeah, so folks, I'm gonna have to stop it here for now. This is my my masking tape, one that I got working on. This is another one I got working on, right? Ride the fish, ride the fish, riding the fish, riding that fish, ride that fish, ride that fish. Like, ride that fish. So to have that one here. Then you have this one here is the deli, Jimba, right? And so, unfortunately, I had to, not unfortunately, but pretty much we have to kind of go to our next venue, which is to go home and unload all these stuff before the food goes crazy. And you know, food will go crazy. So I'm gonna put all the stuff back in here. Oh, I want to show you this one too real quick. This is like a little purse I made. It's like a coworker of mine. And I call this one Erica, but it's like, you know, there's another coworker of mine that looks just like this. So, you know, so yeah, that one, this one, right, into the bag. Hey, they put me in the bag, not in the bag. So there's that one. They blaze now, not in the bag, not in the bag again. How are you even talking? You have no mouth. I don't know. Okay, so there's that one there. There. Okay, so I'm gonna have to take the camera, move it real quick. Why don't you get a seat? All right, cool. All right, cool. Yeah, right. All right, so I'm gonna call it quits. Of course, no, we don't have time. We have to get ready to go back. All right, my friends, I want to thank you so much for watching my show, watching my program. I want to wish you all the best. God bless you. Please sign in for my next class. I'll have another class coming up. I'll have more description in the bios. But definitely thank you again for being here. Let me lock this car door. And peace. Peace. God bless you. And see you again. All right, bye.